Welcome to the Centre for Career and Calling, where we bring you information, resources and food for thought on vocational discernment and professional formation. So here we are today, and I am with Chloe Burrows, who is a third-year politics, history and economics student, and today we are going to talk about how, Chloe, you are going to spend your summer.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, so Chloe and I were having a really interesting conversation about summer and summer plans. So let's start with, initially, what were your plans for the summer? What were you planning to do?
So I was looking at a few opportunities that have to mostly do with either history kind of work, either through social media and planning events for different historical sites back home in Victoria, or I was looking at some sort of administrative work that had to do more with the political side of my interests in my academic career. So there's a few jobs, but Victoria's a lot smaller than Edmonton, so there's a lot less, there's more limitations on what's available as well. And if anyone ever has any understanding of like the application process of a lot of these like government and Ministry of X things, they take forever to communicate back for legal reasons if you're applicable for an interview or not. So it is a lot of waiting, and sometimes that waiting goes way too long past the point of like, I need to find a job now because I need money for next year.
And also, I mean, the other thing that strikes me is it's such, I mean, I know all of semester is busy, but it's kind of crunch time, right? You have final assignments, you have exams looming. Then before that, there was midterms. So having that capacity to devote to finding a summer internship program or a job that you might regard as being, you know, more than working at McDonald's, say, it takes a lot of time and energy.
It does. Their hiring processes are a lot more than just attach the resume and call it a day, you know, like a lot of them have deeper questions that need you to answer, be very specific on your criteria that fits this thing or your expertise and your experience within those things. So it's almost like writing another assignment that you need to do but don't want to do, because it is around that season of just burnout that you're like, what's the point anymore either?
Right,
you know?
Right, yeah. It's finding work is a job in and of itself, which I think sometimes we underestimate how much time it can take to do that effectively. So here you are, you're trying to fit this in, finding a meaningful, and I'm using air quotes here, job for the summer. You have the pressure of, well, I need to work because I actually need to earn money so I can pay for school, but I also feel like I should be finding something that looks great on a resume or that matches my interest somehow or links to my academic program. And you haven't yet heard from anybody. So now what? Yeah,
exactly. It is that now what after, because there's so many, especially given the current reality we find ourselves in, it's so much easier to find like quote unquote meaningless or easier jobs to work right now. So I definitely gave it a lot of thought and prayer that I was like, should I really be putting all into finding a sort of meaningful or career applicable job that'll help me down the line? Because I think for a lot of students that is that pressure that the summer is your opportunity to get things that are going to help set you up even more than schooling already is setting you up for the quote-unquote real world.
Right, which is such a funny phrase, isn't it? But we won't get into that.
Exactly, another time.
As if you're living in a not real world, right? We're in the Matrix right now, people, but I understand what you mean.
It's the Matrix. But yeah, so in that way, it's almost like this is the chance to show that my academics and that being affiliated with so-and-so school at so-and-so program is going to be the reason I can then find a job and right now for the summer, but then also for the future. But so I was looking at, I was debating a couple of things of maybe doing volunteer work with an organization that I hope to work for in the future and get my foot in the door that way, but also still find work that pays for schooling and just accept that with this balance of the two things. So I was trying to assess like if I should be paid to do something that's valuable to my career goals and aspirations, or find volunteer or my own led study. So I'd been thinking and praying for the last few months on that, and I came to this conclusion through one of my classes that there's a local history in Victoria that needs to be explored more, and through both of my training as a historian in my major, but also as a political scientist, like there needs to be advocacy work done for the past to help the present in Victoria. So it's been a big motivator for me that if I know this is what I want to do, then that quote unquote meaningless job that's going to pay for the bills for the next year will help keep me motivated to do that volunteer own free time research project.
I love that. I love, so really what you're saying is that you have this passion project that's on your heart, that that's been ignited through your studies, but rather than thinking, oh, well, how can I be paid to do that passion project? You're sort of switching your mindset and thinking, okay, the reality is I need to earn money to pay for school. That's really important. But I also have this passion project. So I can do both. I can do this passion project that I'm not being paid for, and then I can find a job, and we keep using air quotes for meaningless, because really no job is meaningless.
Exactly.
Right? You can find a job that will pay the bills, and that's totally fine.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally think that, you just don't know where things are going to lead you in life too. And so why would you want to miss on an opportunity? Sure, it's not paying, but I don't know. I'm very excited for what opportunities may arise or who in the community of Victoria I'm going to find while I'm doing this assignment and this project. And, there's more to life and being fulfilled by it than just being paid at the end of the day. So I think it's so important for any student to assess, in any of the programs we have here, not just the humanities, but also your sciences and your ed program as well, that if you're not finding things, or if you have a plan to go into ed program, why not go to do summer camp or volunteer somewhere else and try out working with kids before you're being taught to work with kids in a formal setting. That it's that kind of thing to just broaden the horizons to what you can and can't do this summer. I think that's super important, super valuable.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure, I think, in all of the talk about work integrated learning and internships. And those are good things if you can get them. But sometimes I think there can be this feeling of, well, I didn't get that, so now what? Like, is my summer just going to be wasted? And really what you're sharing from your experience is, okay, you went down that track originally, tried to find something that was maybe aligned to your interests that you could be paid for. That hasn't worked out for any number of reasons, but it doesn't mean that all is lost. You can still have a summer that is meaningful, find something that pays your bills, and hopefully in there, maybe some downtime. Chloe, do you think?
Oh yeah, I have plans for downtime as well.
That's good to hear. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much. Any parting words you want to give us?
Yeah, just enjoy yourself, follow your passions and your heart, and the road will be made clear, and you never know what these experiences over your summer will help you down the road.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for giving your time. I know it's a busy time of year for you. You have been tuning in to an offering from the Centre for Career and Calling here at the King's University in Edmonton, Alberta. Till next time.